All right, everybody. It is Friday, and it is 9:32, right on time, Curt Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
And we're ready today to talk about marketing automation from manufacturers for clicks to customers. We're here today on Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. I am one of the co-hosts, Damon Pistulka. That pretty gentleman right over there is Curt Anderson. We're going to have a little fun today, aren't we, Curt?
Dude, we have fun every day. So happy Friday to you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's so incredible to be here. We're on a Friday going into a holiday weekend, so we're gonna take it easy, let the guests go. We're just gonna do a little education, like I like to say, a little edutainment.
That's right. We'll do some edutaining. Just, let's take a moment of gratitude. It's like Memorial Day weekend. Just think of everybody that served and just everybody, it's a great weekend. Just kind of step back and just be so thankful and appreciative. And life gets challenging, stressful, but, just kind of stop and just enjoy family and friends, the outdoors. It's just a wonderful weekend. Just kind of put everything in perspective. What do you think?
Yeah, I think my back is hurting getting ready for this weekend. That's good. That's good because it is going to be enjoyable, and it is. This is really. I know we don't think about it enough, but there's. It's hard to find somebody that doesn't know someone that's been affected by someone that served and is not here anymore, or someone served and came home injured. There's just so many people that we have, and on the suicide problem with veterans is just not acceptable in the United States. If there's anything, I'm going to stand on a soapbox for a minute. That's it. Because there's too many people every single day. I think it's like 20 people a day, 20 veterans a day or something like that. It's a crazy number. And, we just, it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great weekend. Yeah. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a little fun today talking about marketing automation. So, Curt, in the world of marketing automation, how quickly have things moved in the last few years?
Dude, it's wild, isn't it? It's just absolutely wild. It's literally between AI and automation, it's like you blink, like anything that we discussed today will probably be obsolete tomorrow, right? It's like it's changing so fast. But I tell you, kicking and screaming, you got me into the automation world. Thank God you did, and I'll never forget when I got everything set up and running. I was like, what do I do with all my time now? Like, it was almost like I was like shocked of like how much time that actually freed up. And so, so let's dive in. Let's discuss some automation on baby, because I think for me, being I'm a digital immigrant, it was kind of daunting, overwhelming, don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, when you try to tackle the whole thing at once, right? And we're going to tackle the entire offense in one swoop, it doesn't work, right? But when you just take it like in little bites, then it's much more manageable. Your thoughts? What do you want to share?
Yeah, that's exactly how you do it, Curt. And as we talked a long time ago, just start with the simple things that will make a difference, and then just keep adding to them. And that's really the thing that we see, and we see it really benefits manufacturing businesses and businesses in general, is when you just continue to build on that knowledge base, with good tools and good foundations to keep automating more and more as new technologies become available or new ways to connect with different systems. I mean, on Tuesday, we talked about that with a gentleman on the Face of Business about how the interoperability between systems now, because, your ERP used to not talk with anything else. And now there's an API connection that you can probably do. And that's a little bit of techno jargon with the API connection, but the right technical people can usually make those systems talk now pretty easily, rather than if in manufacturing, your ERP system is usually your hub. Well, if my ERP system isn't good for my sales and marketing activities, it doesn't mean that the two systems can't talk anymore.
Right.
And that's what's really been cool. Some of the technology development with the APIs and just simple tools like Zapier that can move information back and forth, because now I can use like a marketing system of some sort we use Go High Level. That's everybody knows that if they heard us before. But now you can take that information and go, okay, now it is a customer, and they get their information transfers into my ERP system now automatically at the right point, and begins the journey that way. And things like when you deliver an order, you can now, it can come out and back into your CRM system or your marketing system, and it can say, hey, how did we do on the order? How'd you like it? And things like that you just couldn't do before. And that's super cool, super exciting how it's changed just the interoperability and the exchange of data between systems.
Right. Okay. So anybody out there that's just starting, what advice, what suggestions would you have for people to just kind of get the party started?
Well, I think one of the first things is getting your calendar automated, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a salesperson and you're still doing the email tag to set up a meeting, I think that is one of the easier places that you can do. And like you're showing there, Curt, that's a great example. If someone goes to our website, they can book a digital strategy call right there. Whether it's Calendly, whether it's High Level like we use behind this connected everything. Now what happens is when we put these out, they're usually connected to something, and you can book a meeting. And as soon as you book that meeting is on your calendar. First of all, you can, if you wanted to put a Zoom link in there automatically, it'll put a Zoom link in there automatically for the meeting. And it also will put the information from that contact into your CRM. So you don't have to search for it later, and you can use it. So these kind of things are very valuable to save time. We're saving time and being more consistent. And I think the calendar is a great place to start.
Yeah. And again, so this might be below many folks. We're like, well, of course, I've been using a calendar for years, but for other folks, maybe this is new. Man, I'd tell you, just like eliminating that back and forth of, hey, you available Tuesday? No. How about Wednesday? Well, Thursday at 9? No. How about Friday? Like that back and forth, you just eliminate all that process. I was on a call with a dear friend of ours yesterday, and she wanted to share something. She pulls up her email, and I could see the email notifications of our meeting, in her email. It was like, 24 hours prior,
Yep.
An hour ahead of time. And so just having that automation, this is just such a simple 101. But again, if this is new to somebody out there, that's a great place to start.
Yeah. And I've talked to people before that say, well, I drive a lot. Whatever. Well, if just put some time in between the appointments. The calendars are able to set up now that you want to leave an hour in between each appointment, 2 hours. You only want to book, 1 hour, one meeting in the morning, one in the afternoon. They'll flex around what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And it's so convenient for who you're trying to meet, and just send them an email with the link in it and go, hey, Curt, just pick a time and we'll meet. Right. And it's just makes it so much easier for people to do that. And it's on your calendar and you're ready to go. Right. You can, and then you talked about the automations. If you send the automation can send out something and says, hey, if there's any specific points you want to cover, let's do that. Right. So that the calendar is a great place to start. The other one that I like to talk about a lot too are the forms on your website, because, we all have contact us forms, or in manufacturing, you got a quote request form. Well, what happens to that now? And how does it get tracked after you get that? And I can show you a quick example here of that, Curt, if you'd like. Or are you pulling something up?
Well, I'll, you know what? You drive. I have an example. Let's see yours first.
Oh, we're sharing examples.
It's show and tell on Friday.
Dude. Show and tell on Friday. So it can start out as simple as this, and I'm gonna get it up on the right screen here. So I'm looking at some different forms. So this is a quote request form. Right. So this is something that you have put in the thing, and you can go, why you're doing it. So, okay, this goes into your, if you want to get more specific, this is a generic form that we start out with. But if you wanted to say, hey, I've got a aluminum CNC machine part, or I've got whatever, I'm manufacturing doors and I need one this size with 3 windows, you can get all this stuff in your form. Well, when you do that, that goes right into your pipeline. And you're into your opportunity pipeline here, where it says, and we're in our manufacturing snapshot. These are some standard things that we use. that new lead would come right in here as a new lead in this stage in the pipeline. And I tell you what, for fun, let's just fill it out. We'll just fill it out. How about that? We'll go back there and do this, because Curt's going to need something here. And I'm just going to add an opportunity quick. Sorry, I got a little confused here. But when they go into these pipelines, we'll just add an opportunity. I was going to say, oh, I got all kinds of different names and stuff in here this is Curt. We're going to put Curt as the opportunity. So now I've got an opportunity in my pipeline. My pipeline can be however I want when we have. So Curt's got an opportunity in here. We came off the website, quote request came to us. We can go, what happens after this? This is where the automations really start to kick in. Well, first of all, I acknowledge the person and say, hey, we got a quote request from you. We're on it. Then you go, okay, we reviewed it. Was it something that we can actually do? If it is, well, then we say, okay, let's get going. Maybe it's time then to meet a schedule, maybe, and you can say automation can then send out the scheduling link to schedule a meeting to talk about it a little bit more. Or if you're ready to go, you can move it into the quote in process stage. If you've got all the information you need, your automations can then notify your internal team. Notify the person that inquired about it and say, hey, we're working on your quote. We got what we need. If we'll reach out with more stuff, you can tell your engineers it's time for us to put the quote together. This is what we need. Here's your information. Again, it's just taking the steps out of it, because you think, if I'm a salesperson that's trying to do this, or a project manager that's trying to do this, there's a lot of emailing back and forth or other things that we have to worry about to get these kind of things done. And when the quote's done, they can then go, okay, it's time to send the quote, and we upload and send out the quote through the system. So again, we send it automatically. It lets our salespeople know that we've sent the quote. They get a copy of it as well, so they can see that. If they need to review and follow up with them, you can set up sequences to follow up with the people by email, or you can even send something to me internally. Hey, Damon, you need to call a follow up on that quote. If that's our process, to follow up with a phone call every time. These things can work universally. It's not just sending an email or a text or something like that. It can come back in too, and it can send something to someone that says, hey, you need to reach out in person and talk to them, and keep that touch like you want through these processes.
Yeah, absolutely love it. So let's take a look. I got an example I'll show on the front end of things. So that was underneath the hood.
Yeah.
You're like, what's a pipeline? So as Damon just explained, it's just kind of taking that client, that customer, the prospect, through a process that's automated, where you're not hands-on through the entire, each step of the way. And so let's see if I have an example that I'll show. So now, Damon, I'm going to go to the front end of what we're doing. Okay. And so if you go on the B2B Tail website, we have this little, so shameless, we have this free tool that we love to give out. We're just we just love this product. It's called the Digital Game Plan. And if you go to this web page here, and when you land there, you just pop in your name, your email, and you receive your very own digital game plan. Now, what we've done, it's a step-by-step digital marketing hub for folks, and there's like an 8-week process. Well, as people are signing up for this, that would be very challenging, very cumbersome, very daunting, expensive for us to be sending out emails one at a time on each step of the way. Well, Damon, you explain what you've done. An amazing job. Dude, I'm so proud of you.
Well, what it does, in something like this, if you've got a guide for somebody, or you've sent out something, you've got something that you want to help potential customers with, it could be a buyer's guide. I mean, I'm a big proponent on buyer's guide. You can then set up a sequence of emails asking about do you have the information you need? Do you, and 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And in this case, our digital game plan has 12 sections. We have emails that talk specifically about each section that come out in a cadence to be able to help the person do this. These are the kind of things that it just happens, right? You don't have to, there's no input from you. You're giving the person that's requesting the information, valuable information to help them go through something like this. and offering to help them along the way if they need it.
Yep.
So
yeah, and what we're trying to be like a discreet accountability partner. Now, again, it's not like super hands-on, but it's a light touch. Our hope is high value, but it just makes your life so much easier and very efficient. So, okay, we're gonna start winding down. Damon, any other? So we talked about a calendar. We talked about having a form or any type of like the what I want to say, be like that go-giver on your website. What is value that you can just give away to folks to just share your expertise? Anything else that you want to hit before we wrap up?
There are just so many things you can do with automation, starting from the ultra simple to the insanely complex but incredibly cool, that could save you a lot of time. That if you haven't started looking at these automations to save time in your day, you're really missing out, because your competitors are. You owe it to yourself, just because you can get some of that time back that you were working on stuff that is probably not something you really should be working on, and working on more of the valuable stuff. And the automation is there to do it. And the simple tools, that's the other thing.
Absolutely. So last thing that we'll wrap up on is, hey, how about a social scheduler, right? So,
oh yeah.
Hey, are you on LinkedIn by any chance?
I am.
You're on LinkedIn? Okay,
yes,
so I wasn't positive if you were, so I was just checking. So you post once in a while, right?
Yeah, I do. I post once in a while.
So this was hysterical. I love this video you put out.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So anyway, so you are super aggressive.
That was me a few years ago, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was like, oh, I've had one of those moments. Yeah.
That is absolutely hysterical. And how they like in the thing, like, I'm sure it was staged, but anyway, this was absolutely hysterical. Great post. But you talk about how efficient you've made this process for yourself.
Yeah, when you have a social scheduling tool or a scheduling tool, it is incredibly efficient. I mean, if you want to get something across all your social channels, you have special social channels where you want to do it, and repurposing information that you want to go, okay, we've got something coming up, I want to do it every week for so long. This just takes care of a lot of the headaches in that, and really gets you, saves a ton of time. And you go to one place rather than multiple locations to try to post it all.
Yeah. And dude, I couldn't love that video more, being a dog lover that I am.
Yeah.
What a heartwarming, great. So you do an amazing job just sharing all sorts of inspiration, wonderful posts on a daily basis. So please follow Damon on LinkedIn. So Damon, let's wrap up. And so first off, thank you, dude. Thank you, everybody out there. If you're catching this live, catching it on replay, appreciate you. You have any questions whatsoever, please reach out to Damon, reach out to myself. And I just want to wish everybody just an amazing, incredible, wonderful, blessed Memorial Day weekend. Go out and just love your loved ones, and just, let's, give a little love to our folks in the military and anybody that served in your past, and, stop by the cemetery and visit anybody that meant something to you. And Damon, what are your thoughts as we wrap up?
Yeah, I just echo that. This is the weekend to really think about them, and you just put them in your thoughts. That's for sure.
Awesome. So, all right, guys. Hey, we're taking Monday off because it is Memorial Day. So we have, hey, dude, we've got Carol Thomas next.
I know.
So we'll be back next Friday. We're talking about the MEPs. So great conversation, manufacturing extension partnerships. We'll see you next Friday, and just, go out and just keep crushing it out there.
Thanks, everyone.